As a video creator of a couple years now, I've been trying to have more conversations with fellow creators in hopes of being more connected with a community of like-minded people. To make the most of this remote experience, I've started to record all these conversations for myself and possibly to repurpose for content later on. Here's my problem though. Despite having some of the best equipment, I have a terrible system to put these recordings together, and I need help with it. I fumbled my recording with big-time YouTuber Matt Diavella. The audio never recorded. I had a conversation with gimbal master Say Park, but my camera at the time would overheat, so I only recorded the Google Meet window on my end. And most of the recordings that I had with creators in between just ended up failing because the OBS that I was recording with crashed so many times. I mean, I thought this whole video recording thing was supposed to be easy. I just wanted something where my video calling experience would not only be smooth, but also look, sound, and feel like I'm recording just another high quality YouTube video, but with a friend. I had decided to try out Riverside and see what they had to offer, because after all these failures, I needed something that actually worked. In this video, I'll be recording a new video call using Riverside and go over the gear that I use for the best quality so that you can copy the setup as well. Stay to the end because I'll be sharing more of the features and pro tips that will maximize your video creating experience that I can do anywhere else. This video is sponsored by Riverside, and if you've never heard of them, they're an all-around video and audio tool that helps creators record their content, refine them through their quality editing process, and repurpose them through other socials without spending extra time reshooting their content. For the video call, I'll be having a conversation with two new creator friends that I made at the NAB conference, Michael and Relly. The focus of our call is going to be around growing on YouTube and any obstacles as well as circumstances that we navigate through while on that journey. Pro tip, as a content creator, one of the easiest things that I do to make my creative process easier is to actually not create anything at all. Instead, I document my process to avoid the friction of creating something from scratch. A lot of the time when I write my scripts, I sound like a robot and it seems to lack a little bit of personality. But if you're like me, if you're in a call or conversation with family and friends, colleagues, the real you ends up coming out and it's generally a good time for everybody. I realized one of the places to really capture the real me without having to worry about being camera shy or even have to worry about my ums and ahs and other mistakes is in a regular conversation. And if I end up having these ums and ahs anyway, along with awkward pauses, there it was again, well, Riverside can help edit those out with their AI production tools, but more on that later. For now, let me log into my account and then show you the gear that I use for my setup for these video calls. Here's a login page here, and this is where I will go in the top right hand corner to log in and open the account. I'm already signed in, but you'll have another login page where you sign in through your credentials, whether you use Google or your email, whichever. On the left hand side here, this is where we have what they call studios, and as you see, I have two. I use two different ones, one in particular for using the content creation meetups that I have with other people. And the second studio right here on the bottom is one that I would use for uploading previously recorded videos, not on Riverside, and repurpose my content from there. So since I'm clicked into this content creation catch up here, you can see all the recordings that we have and have had. So once we selected our studio on the left, we will look over to our right hand side where we see a couple buttons here across the top. Just know that this is the workspace that we'll be using and where we will have our recording. As you see on the top, we have our options, and on the bottom, we have our previously recorded projects or video calls. To begin the call, we can go ahead and click right here where it says record. And now it's gonna start asking us for the gear that we're gonna be using. For our first piece of gear, I've got my Sony ZV-E10 Mark II. Sony's latest vlogging camera. The setup that is supporting my camera is the iFootage round base monopod and the iFootage Komodo video head. On the body, I have the Sigma 18-35mm f1.8, which is great for low light and indoor situations. But as an alternative, I know others love the Sigma 16mm f1.4, which is a popular lens for video and because it has a wider field of view. Now that I have my camera plugged in, I can go ahead and go to this top drop down menu and select it right there, ZV-E10 M2. Okay, now we see ourselves. What am I going to use for a microphone? Instead of the mic on my MacBook Pro, in order to get a more professional experience, I'll be using this shotgun microphone from Comica. Supporting it is a mini tripod from Joby, but any mini tripod will do that will be able to keep the mic in place on your desk. And for our last piece to our setup, I need something to monitor the sound of my mic, as well as the sound coming from my guest's mic. This is essential to prevent my guests from hearing themselves from my own speakers. So in this case, I have decided to use Apple AirPods as they don't stand out like headphones. I'm only going to use one of them, specifically on the left ear, while the camera is filming me from the right. So it looks like I'm not even using any headphones. Great, so now we can see the whole studio setting right here on our computer. And before we go ahead and actually have our guests come into the studio, come into this web chat here, let's go ahead and hover over the record here, and you can see run test recording. So this is to make sure that our footage looks good, our audio sounds good, and we can also hear ourselves. So let's go ahead and hit run test. Okay, and then this is where we will say something. Hey guys, welcome to the chat. Thanks again for meeting with me. This is going to be a test recording to see how my audio and my video looks like, to make sure I'm in focus. Okay, and just like that. One thing that you do want to note that when you're working with Riverside is that you will notice at the top of your screen it says that it will be uploading our footage. This is our test footage, but this is also applicable to our video recording for after we're done with our video call. See our test recording here. We'll just play it back real quick. Okay, and then this is where we will say something. Hey guys, welcome to the chat. Thanks again for meeting with me. This is going to be a test recording to see how my audio and my video looks like, to make sure I'm in focus. Alright, and here of course we have our tips. And once we're ready with all this, let's go ahead and hit end test. And we'll wait for our guests to arrive. If they don't have the link, we can go ahead and select this button down here and invite, copy this, and then send it through email, Messenger, Instagram, wherever you guys stay in contact. Once they arrive, do note that just like me, they will also have a similar setup here. Their names will pop up here on the right hand side, and you can go ahead and see where their levels are at. If it's green, it's good. If it's a little too high, it'll be in like the yellow and the red, and we can dial it down on their end. Once we have confirmed that their video and audio work well, we can go ahead down here and finally just hit record. You don't even have to hover over this. Just hit record and you're ready to go. All right, after an hour of connecting and discussing our journeys through content creation, we finished our recording without any hiccups. Now, if you didn't notice on my screen, there is an upload percentage going on. Riverside locally records and saves the video and audio from each of the participants' computers. One of the ways to know that all the videos have been completely recorded from all the guests is by waiting until the upload process to the cloud has been finished. Usually it takes less than 10 seconds. With no extra effort, everyone leaves Riverside open on their browser for a few minutes and it's done. I don't even have to worry about taking up hard drive space or SD card space to record my audio and video. And if you know video, you know that hour-long footage does take up a lot of space. Now, we're ready to edit. Although I was only looking for a good video call recording workflow, Riverside surprised me with how far they took their editing process. With the tools that they have, I could easily have a faster turnaround time with the minimal editing. Alright, we'll go to the dashboard and click on our project, which we have in front of us. We'll be using Riverside to put together a clean long form video, as well as a short form video. After I've gone back to the dashboard and I've clicked on the recent video call, we can go over here and scroll to the bottom where we can discover where it says full episode. To get our long form video, we just have to go ahead and hit generate episode. Alright, after a minute or two, we can go ahead and jump in and hit edit. As I look around the screen, there's kind of a lot to take in. On the left hand side here, there's a transcript. Down below, we have the timeline. In the middle here, we can see the actual video. On the right hand side, we have access to the different rest of our editing tools and options. Don't worry too much about the low quality video because the final download will ultimately be the high quality video as it was originally recorded. One of the simplest yet time consuming parts of editing a talking head video, podcast, or interview is getting rid of the boring moments, the awkward pauses, and all the ums and the ahs. To save 30 minutes or so of my life, I'll be utilizing Riverside's Silence Remover. Okay, I'm gonna go over here to this right side, click this, and hit Set Pace. And now it will automatically get rid of all the awkward pauses, which is 8 minutes and 34 seconds. Pretty good. You just hit apply, and just like that, I'm already done. Also pay attention to this time right here, because it slowly starts going down as we continue to edit, and it's satisfying because most of it is done by AI. Although this demo that I did was a video call with 2 other people, this is just as effective for solo talking head videos, whether I record in Riverside itself or upload a video file that I previously recorded somewhere else. I've set the pacing to super fast, but go ahead and dial it back as you need according to your taste and the flow of your original content. For a little more manual control, I can go as we normally have done and just go in and split the clips by hitting S while highlighting the timeline, and there we go, we made our clip. And then I would go ahead and make another split or another cut and then delete that part if I find that it is irrelevant, just like I would with any traditional video editing software. But if I wanted a faster way of doing this process, Riverside actually makes it even easier with their transcript editing on the left hand side. That's right, this thing isn't just for reading or for captions, but it can be used to edit the actual video. Alright, let's select this part where I talk about where I play pickleball and where I play Fortnite. So I can go ahead and highlight this and just hit delete. And down below we can see that it has been grayed out, and that's it. It'll just skip right over that when it goes to export. All that without having to manually click and split the clips. Once I have gone through the whole video and have edited it down to my satisfaction, then I can start adding even more elements to this video. Riverside allows me to import my own elements, like video files, which contain my personalized intro. So like this. Let's go all the way back to the beginning, and we'll hit plus here, and we'll hit uploads. I can hit upload under video, and right here is my intro, which I can open. I can double click this and it'll appear right there. All right, we can go ahead and play. It works. Although I have many elements in the video, I can still easily click and drag any one of them around on the timeline to different parts of the video, especially the specific chapters of the video that Riverside has put together. We can go ahead here and be like the importance of thumbnails and video editing, and let's say we want to put that as the first topic in the conversation. We can go ahead and drag that just like so. This is specific if someone gets cut off in the middle of a story, but I want to end up putting it all together for the edit, so this will be great for that. One of the best sides that I love about Riverside and their transcript is not only the transcript editing, but also transcript searching. For example, Relly mentioned something about thousands of something, but I want to find the complete story of him mentioning his experience or his take on the subject. But the thing is, we recorded an hour-long video call. How would I go about finding that specific part? Normally, I would go ahead and skim over the timeline with the playhead, hoping that I would find the part. Maybe I might miss that spot and do it all over again. No need for that anymore. I can go ahead and just go up to this search bar and just hit 1000 or type in 1000, and boom, right there. I can go ahead and play it from the beginning and just listen to what he had to say about 1000 something. In this case, he's talking about subscribers going from 100 to 1000 and the difficulty of jumping up in that journey. I'm glad that I was able to find that. Another thing about video calls that I want to be conscientious of is that there are times when we do speak over one another, but I want to be able to remove that part. Fortunately, Riverside doesn't only just separate each of the tracks, but it allows us to mute them when we are not talking. I found out that one of the best ways to use this expanded track feature is to combine it with what they have as Magic Mute. Let's go ahead and take a look at this clip of Michael here. Alright, let's go ahead and expand the track here by selecting this whole track here on the timeline. Hit expand tracks, and now we can go ahead and see that we can click through the different tracks through Relly, through Michael, and through myself. Now, of course, we have cut out the awkward pauses. These dark spots are from the pacing. But what I would like is to be able to mute the different tracks to make sure that they don't make it into the final cut. So what I want to do is click on my own track and apply magic mute so that non-speaking parts don't show up. And just like that, it's good. Okay, same thing with Michael. Oh, I already applied it there. And same thing here with Relly.
And all that stuff.
So it sounds pretty darn clean so that nobody's overlapping one another, and if we are going to speak, it unmutes and then it mutes again when we're not speaking. See, it would take me much longer for me to tap, cut, mute in several different actions in several parts of the timeline, but with this one button, I'm good. So the audio sounds good, but what about the video? It's nice that I can show everyone's face, but for emphasis, I just want to be able to highlight the actual speaker. You know, give them most of the screen real estate. As you see on the right hand side, we can go over to layout, where I can choose a better framing for them. We can go ahead and put smart scenes, where we can go ahead and highlight the actual speaker versus the people in the audience who are just really listening. So if I'm speaking, I could get the whole frame. When Relly's speaking, he can get the whole frame. And the same thing with Michael. See, just like that. Or I can go ahead and change the layout again and hit picture in picture or split screen like so. So now it shows us on the side, but it's a little bit on the small side, so maybe we'll do picture in picture. That looks better. I like that. There are more effects and controls that I can go ahead and dive through, but for now, this is pretty much the basics of it. I feel like the video is pretty much done. I've just got to go ahead and export the video. So we'll go up here to the top right hand corner. I can go ahead and export all the way up to 4K. Remove the watermark. Normalize the audio. Remove any background noise, although it should have already been done. And just hit export. So while this is getting done, I got another excellent pro tip that you'll love. As you saw, Riverside generated the transcript for us. But what I discovered too is that Riverside can export this final transcript into subtitles that we can upload straight to YouTube for the entire video. So instead of going to exports, we're gonna go ahead and duplicate and continue editing. And if we go ahead to the left hand side, we see the transcript is here. But if we go up to the three dots here, we can go ahead and hit download transcript or download subtitles. And then when we go ahead and upload our video to YouTube, you'll see that on the same screen as the end screen, we can go ahead and upload this file and it'll just cover the same exact subtitles that we need for the video. One of the simplest ways to reach new audiences is to include subtitles to my own videos. I just haven't gotten around to doing it because I've got so many subscriptions. Thankfully, Riverside does so many things for video creation and does it well that I don't have to bounce between more apps and more software. Normally, I would pay someone for some service to do this for me and pay them based on the length of the video, which is usually per minute. But exporting the transcript to subtitles is just so much more convenient. It's actually pretty accurate too. And if I want to get the time codes for my chapters, I can go ahead and find them in the studio by generating show notes. Hey there, Mike from the future. I just wanted to show you what the show notes AI looks like when the video is actually done. We're gonna go ahead and go to our creator studio or wherever studio is. And then we're gonna go over here to the exported video. In the bottom left hand corner, click view notes. This is where our final video will be. And then right below, the AI show notes shall appear. This right here is where the final video will be. And then down below will be the AI show notes that I can soon find when it's finished loading. All right, now that it's finished loading, I can now see the keywords here, which will be great for our YouTube tags. And I have a tab pulled up, so I'll just show you that I can just easily go over to the right, copy, go over here to my YouTube video, go down to the tags right here, and then paste. Great. Well, I removed that first one. Go back, and then we already have like a little description here, so we can copy this as well. Scroll up, paste. Just remove that summary there. Go back. Okay, we have some takeaways here that we could use for our own note taking. Titles, I already have one, but there are some options for you. some sound bites that you probably want to use for like Twitter or X, wherever you want to go ahead and send little messages online. And then over here I have chapters which are very useful. Copy and then paste. And just like that, take that out of there. And now the audience can go ahead and click the different parts of the description in the actual YouTube video, and they can go right there. And then just go on as you would. But I gotta be realistic. Not everybody has time or means to consume the whole thing. So I wanna make sure that I'm a little bit covered and get some of the best clips from the conversation to be able to spread out there. And as someone who stopped posting vertical videos for a while now, Riverside looks for and creates the best clips for me when I don't have the extra time to. By going under Magic Clips and hit Generate Clips, Riverside starts to put together segments of my recordings to be able to use for short form content. I like my short form videos around 30 to 60 seconds, so it's general for all platforms. Okay, just hit that. I like how it says that I can choose which topics to go ahead and highlight, but for now I'll just leave it open and hit Generate Clips. Now I won't go through all the clips, but let's go ahead and choose this last one. Click Edit. Now Riverside already did about 75 to 90% of the job of finding the clip, cutting it, transcribing it, and having the captions ready. The only thing that I have to do now is make sure that the conversation is smooth without any awkward pauses, irrelevant tangents, and then add the captions for people who watch shorts and reels with the sound off. If I want to go ahead and enhance the video a little more, I can go ahead and change the layout. I could do the picture in picture. I think I like this framing a little bit better. And then I'll add captions. I like how it has this little background around it. And I want to make sure it's just under his chin, so that's easier to be seen. That a little wider. Okay, that's more like it. You know, I just came up with a better idea. The next time I want to create a short form video out of a single video, I think I could simply batch record my vertical videos and just let Riverside cut them up separately. I just need to sit down, hit record, and then just go 5 in a row. And then just upload that footage into my second studio where I have my own videos, and then use Magic Clips to split them up and then edit them as I need. Alright, our main video should be done exporting, and here's a piece of what it looks like.
But I've been encouraging him to post and all that stuff. So
I'll tell you what, it is, you know, they say if you want to be a millionaire, you hang out with a bunch of millionaires and eventually you'll make it happen. So, you know, we, by force of nature now, work together and see each other all the time, so we talk about it. But having a group of people that are creators too, you start to try to, like, you know, get, or at least get better at what you're doing, or, you know, you want to be involved with it all.
After using Riverside, I can't go back to my old ways of recording and creating from video calls. Whether you're a new creator or an experienced one, and you want to go ahead and elevate your standard for your long form video recordings and editings, Riverside is a great place to start. You can go ahead and check them out through the link down below and use code Salazar for 15% off when purchasing a paid plan. Thanks again for Riverside for sponsoring this video.